Hey guys, it's Candice James here, back with another episode of Candy and Popcorn, and today's episode we are going to talk about Lupin on Netflix. So you should watch Lupin if you like James Bond. He's a master of disguise, fights for the greater good, and never ends up with the girl in the end. Think about it. When was the last time James Bond ended up happily ever after? And if you think about it, in real life, Lupin as a black man played by Omar is much more believable than the typical white guy that they choose to cast as James Bond. And here's why. James Bond, we see his face. You guys can tell Seth Rogen apart from Jonah Hill, right? But all of a sudden, my cousin Dion is getting pulled over by the cops because the only description that the cop has is black man, 5'2" to 6'7", white t-shirt. Think about it. If Daniel Craig were to ever steal something from the Louvre, we'd all be like this. Officer? Yes. C-R-A-I-G. Yep. You can look him up on his IMDb. James Bond, Skyfall, Spectre as well. Knives Out, he recently did that one. Oh, he was also in Tomb Raider. No, not that one. The good one. The one with Angelina Jolie. But Omar Sy, a black man, if he were to steal something from the Louvre, all of a sudden it's a game of guess who. Was he wearing a hat? Does he have a big nose? Maybe. Are we just accusing the black man in the room? That could be it. You should also watch Lupin if you want to see a black man with daddy issues being portrayed on screen. And that's to say, a black man being portrayed on screen. But I will say, I think M. Night Shyamalan could have written this because it was daddy issues with a twist. So usually, if you're not light enough to pass the riot protest test, your character as a black man or a dark-skinned man is usually just father not in the picture. Like, we as the audience need to figure out, okay, well, when did he leave? We're asking all the hard questions that are just not answered in this movie. Did he die? Was he maybe abducted by aliens? Is this child the output of immaculate conception? Maybe he just never had a dad. That could be it also, because they just give us no information. But I will say the writers of this have been really great, and they give us a really great backstory to Lupin's lack of a father, and that really drives the whole thing. So great on that. But Daniel Craig as James Bond, we see him, at a cabin shooting with his dad, and we're supposed to feel like that's bad enough and he had a bad childhood. And so it's like, no, your dad just yelled at you. That's not abuse. Nice try though. You should also watch Lupin if you want to see Karens being Karens. And that's to say, some of the white women in this show have studied under the tutelage of Permit Patty and the Central Park Karen. That's to say that they lie on black men, also call the cops on black men, and like 55% of white women in this country, also vote and side with their husbands against black men. So the Karens make a really great villain in this series. But that's where I actually think that Lupin isn't like James Bond, because if James Bond were truly black, he would know not to fuck with some Karens. All right, guys, and that's it for today's episode of Candy and Popcorn. Go watch Lupin and tell me what you think. Find me in the comments, find me on social media. And guys, until next time, cheers.